Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the cranky preservationist, and I'm pretty cranky. Less so lately because you may have noticed I'm kind of retired. I'm sort of a gentleman farmer now, but some things bring me out of retirement, and to do that, I have to be really irked at something. Well, guess what? I'm really irked at something. Can you guess what it is? Well, we got a couple of things. We've got one thing to talk about today. It's broken into three parts. Okay. The Cecil Hotel. You've heard of the Cecil Hotel. We all saw the Cecil Hotel on the Netflix, and we've all seen the T-shirts that have the famous ghost sign on the T-shirt. Well, people are going to feel silly wearing those shirts now. So let's talk about the Cecil Hotel, and then we'll talk a little bit about faded paint on brick, and then we'll talk about the Mills Act. So the Cecil Hotel, which you know is super important, originally known as the Metropolitan, built in 1924, designed by Lester Loy Smith. Who we know from, the Lane Mortgage Company building. I think it's also known as the Anjac Fashion. Have you ever been inside with the greatest, maybe not the greatest, but a very great bachelor lobby? So he did the City Club building, LA Fire Engine 54 number 1. Anyway, it's 1924. They build this great height limit Beaux-Arts hotel for the financial district businessmen and the theater types associated with Broadway, anyone in the commercial district. Classic height limit Beaux-Arts, that kind of base shaft capital design with terracotta and cast stone. It's got quoins, it's got dentils and columns. Oh my. And this big denticulated cornice. And that's hard to do. That is to say, that's hard to have today because, by denticulated cornice, of course, I mean that sort of top projecting gewgaw doodad on top, because in 1949, the city comes along and says, we've got this parapet ordinance, and it tells all the building owners, either spend a bunch of money and earthquake proof that thing so it doesn't fall off on people, or spend like $6 and rip the thing off. So 99% of building owners in Los Angeles spent the $6 and ripped the thing off. But the owners of the Cecil Hotel said, well, no, we know how special this amazing Lester Loy Smith building is. And they spent the money and they kept their denticulated cornice. So the place is amazingly intact in all of its historic glory, up to and including its giant 70-foot neon signs that were original to 1924. And the interior of the place is amazing. It had a cafe and a cocktail lounge done by Roland Crawford and the Army and Davis. Well, the Army and Davis did the cafe remodel in 53. And then above the marquees, there was the Army and Davis did it in Zoo Right. But that's not important because that stuff's gone now. But what is there is, of course, for example, there's these amazing neon signs. And then, of course, on its south face, so it's done in this, in the E shape with the air shafts. There's a ghost sign. Well, it's not a ghost sign now because the ghost. Okay, here's the point of it. When you have a painted sign, okay, even in the book, Los Angeles Neon, which is about neon in particular, but signage in general, it was very important to go on about the ghost sign, which is paint on brick. So, this is like Robert's Shoes on Hollywood Boulevard, get your S&H green stamps. The point being that, you're at your dispensary, getting some kush. And you notice on the side of the building, it advertises, Admiral Brand Turnbuckle, the finest in utility riggings, 612 Main Street, phone 8. And what's interesting about the Cecil Hotel is it's not, strictly speaking, a ghost sign, because it actually still advertises the Cecil Hotel. That's what makes it so remarkable. And what's really remarkable about it is, well, there were two versions of it. There's, of course, the original version was black on the side, looked like that. Okay, so original version, like that. There it is. Oh, yeah. So between 1939 and 1947, they repainted it so that it looked like this. This is the famous red paint on brick Hotel Cecil that we know so well. Monthly, weekly rates, 700 rooms. Look at that. Amazing. And it's so it's a touchstone. It's part of our collective memory, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have to tell you how important it is because you're smart people. But I'm Bob, the capitalist. I buy the building. I can do whatever I want with it. I can paint it purple with orange polka dots. I can paint over that sign. Bye-bye. But what happens when you have gone to the city and you've gone and had historic cultural monument status and you get the Mills Act done with it. Well, the Mills Act allows you to basically chop your property taxes in half, and you get all sorts of financial assistance when you embark on the restoration of a historic building and its historic components. And that aims to put the financial savings back into the cost of restoring the building when you restore the building according to the Secretary of Interior standards of rehabilitation. Got it? Got it. So let's look at the numbers. So they buy the building, they're restoring the building. The process of returning a property to the state of utility through repair or alteration, which makes possible an efficient contemporary use while preserving those portions and features of the property which are significant to its historic, architectural, or cultural values. Okay, so according to the city, the Cecil has an assessed value of $33 million. That would make its property taxes roughly $238,000 a year. Now, you go Mills Act on it, cuts your property taxes in half. That's a savings of roughly $119,000 a year in the last 5 years that they've owned it. That's $600,000 that should have gone to schools and roads, blah, blah, blah. But no, they kept it. They put it in their pocket. The idea being that they would use that money again to rehabilitate and restore in a sensitive manner. Any work performed on the property must conform to the Secretary of Interior standards for treatment of historic properties, specifically standards for rehabilitation and the California Historical Building Code. Well, they messed up. They messed up big time. And now they require termination. Right now, this is known as breach of contract. The property owner found to be in breach of contract. The city cancels the contract, whereupon the assessor recorder will collect a cancellation fee of 12.5% of the fair market value of the property as determined by the assessor recorder. Let's look at the numbers again. As I mentioned, 33 million. Therefore, the property owners now owe the city $4,125,000. This is not an arguable point. They owe that money. That's going to happen right now. And I want to be there. I want to be there when they hand over that check. This needs to be a public event, an actual shaming. I want it to be like, okay, remember when Shigemitsu is on the deck of the Missouri signing the instrument of surrender for all the world to see? That's what I want to see. I want to see the signing the check and handing it over. Now, who exactly are we talking about? Who's going to sign this check? Who's handing it over? Okay, so the hotel is sold to hotel dealer Richard Bourne for $30 million in 2014. But I don't know if he's the guy to do this because he doesn't know what the hell's going on with this property. He leases it to Matthew Barron. Matthew Barron, president of Simon Barron Development out in New York. I'm sure that nice Simon Barron is a good kid. He's a mocker. He's your standard American success story. He's a schmuck from Chisinau, comes to America, makes good in Brooklyn. Now he's got $1.2 billion of properties in development. So maybe he doesn't pay attention when things go sideways out here in Los Angeles. So who exactly did it? Was maybe his sublessee, the Skid Row Housing Trust? I know what you're going to say. Oh, Nathan, don't pick on the nice Skid Row Housing Trust. They're doing God's work. Oh, great. No. If Jesus, Moses, and Buddha were out there rehabilitating this place to be like a home for orphans, I would kick the scaffolding out from under them were they, painting over ghost signs and otherwise screwing up the building. Oh, which brings me to my next point. What else are they going to do to the place? Are they going to change the twin neon signs to read, Starbucks and LED and like blink on and off? Are they going to rip out the interior? You go down there, you try and peer in through all the paper they have all over the doors. You try and look at the landmarked art glass skylights or the art glass lamps and all that marble and all that terrazzo and the terracotta balustrades. Is all that going to look at that interior? Look at that. Are they tearing all that out? Because where I am right now, in my house, my home, is Mills Act, and I take my substantial property tax savings and I put it towards keeping this place from falling down, basically, and collapsing into the tarn, like the House of Usher. And they send out people now and then, and they look around and they go, okay, Secretary of the Interior Standards. Apparently, nobody goes out and look. You know who goes out and looks to see if they're destroying the Cecil Hotel? Kim and Richard, esoteric. Okay, take a look at this picture they just took. Peering through the doors. So apparently now the rehabilitation of the Cecil Hotel includes throwing, 900-pound weight benches onto the 100-year-old, well, almost 100 years, 98-year-old terrazzo. I don't know a lot about terrazzo, but I'm pretty sure one of the things you don't do is throw, 100-pound weight benches on top of them. So, which brings me to my last point. The revocation and cancellation of the Mills Act for these schmucks. Damn it, I don't actually want them to get them canceled. I want them to actually retain and maintain their Mills Act. They need to get just a slap on the hand for this one, because I think they did up. That's true. We know that. And that's why I'm very visibly and publicly shaming them, because what needs to happen, I fear that were they to lose their Mills Act and lose that property tax savings, then all bets are off and they would just tear the place apart, and the Cecil Hotel will go further into the toilet. So they need to repaint. Get them some very serious and very, 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 very talented and very good sign painting people. Not just the first, not under AAA, the first people out of the phone book. But maybe we'll even do this. Maybe we'll even do the original recipe, 1924 to about 1940, 1945, somewhere in there. I'm not totally sure when it goes from the lower black to the upper red. Oh, and apparently, so Paul and Didia and J. Eric Linksweiler, only people I trust who know about neon in Los Angeles, because the guy who wrote this book, he doesn't know anything. He's talking to Linksweiler, and he says that sign that you're looking at right now, that this had neon on it. Maybe we should restore the neon on that. What a world we would live in then. Restore that sign. Born and Barron and all you crazy cats out there, you New Yorkers. Let's, West Coast, yo. But we're gonna restore the rift. Make us proud. Restore our sign. Keep your Mills Act. You could even restore it in green, like it was back when the streets had no name. No, do it in red, because guess what? Whatever this schmuck up here on the rooftop is saying, our streets have a name. Streets have no name. It's Main Street! It's a great street. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for taking time to listen to me about the glory, virtue, and beauty of all that is our wonderful Hotel Cecil, and its sign that we miss so much. Please bring it back. I thank you.